due to the development of mode of passion, rajas. The Mahat Tattva is the principle of material creation, and when it is agitated by the will of the Supreme, at first the modes of passion and goodness are prominent, and afterwards the mode of passion, being generated in due course by material activities of different varieties, becomes prominent, and the living entities are thus involved more and more in ignorance. Brahma is the representation of the mode of passion, and Vishnu is the representation of the mode of goodness, while the mode of ignorance is represented by Lord Shiva, the father of material activities. Material nature is called the mother, and the initiator for materialistic life is the father, Lord Shiva. All material creation by the living entities is therefore initiated by the mode of passion. With the advancement of the duration of life in a particular millennium, the different modes act by gradual development. In the age, as such, age of Kali, when the mode of passion is most prominent, material activities of different varieties in the name of advancement of human civilization takes place, and the living entities become more and more involved in forgetting their real identity, the spiritual nature. By a slight cultivation of the mode of goodness, a glimpse of spiritual nature is perceived, but due to the prominence of the mode of passion, the mode of goodness becomes adulterated. Therefore, one cannot transcend the limits of the material modes, and therefore, realization of the Lord, who is always transcendental to the modes of material nature, becomes very difficult for the living entities, even though prominently situated in the mode of goodness through cultivation of the various methods. In the other words, the gross matters are adhibhutam, their maintenance is adhidevam, and the initiator of material activities is called adhyatmam. In the material world, these three principles act as prominent features, namely as raw material, its regular supplies, and its use in different varieties of material creations for sense enjoyment by the bewildered entities. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakcharamritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapad Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagarchatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Sri Varjvanvi Devi Daitai Kripyabdhai Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prave Nama Madhuri Jala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Sakti Vigrahaya Namastute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtai Dinatarine Rupanuga Vridappa Siddhantvantaharine Nama Gaur Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralamba Rasambode Padambujayate Nama Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaur Sakti Sharupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virar Bhumistam Nirdesa Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarabhoma Shri Jagannathaya Te Nama Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnebhyo Namo Nama Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurtushay Nama Panchtatvatkam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavtaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Jaitam Sutta Pangor Mamanda Matergati Matsarvasva Padambojao Radha Madan Mohano Divyad Vindaranya Kalpadrumada Śrīmad Ratnagara Simhasnastho Śrīmad Radha Shila Govindeva Prashtali Sevamano Smarami Śrīman Rasa Sarambhi Vamsi Vatatarastita Arsan Venu Sanar Gopi Gopinatha Triyastuna Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrijvano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Shri Radha Madhav ki Jai Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we are reading from this particular section of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, second canto, the cause of all causes, and today we are on the chapter number second canto, the cosmic manifestation, and today's the chapter is the cause of all causes, chapter number 5, and we are on verse number 23 today. So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 18 cantos, they are compared to Sri Krishna. The complete body of Lord Sri Krishna is compared to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And the first 2 cantos, they are compared to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. So, in this particular section which we are reading right now, here we find that previously, in the second canto, 4th chapter, Pariksit Maharaj has asked certain questions to Sukadeva Goswami. He wants to know about this all creation and about the material world, more details about it. He's asking that question in the 4th chapter. And to answer that question of Pariksit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami, he quotes a conversation which happened between Narad Muni and Brahmaji. So this particular chapter is a conversation of Narad Muni and Brahmaji. And through this conversation, Sukadeva Goswami is answering the questions of Pariksit Maharaj. So in this particular conversation, in the beginning of this chapter, Sukadeva Goswami, Narad Muni, he asks 6 questions. You can show that. Verses number 1 and 2. He's asking 6 questions. Just show the verses. Translation. Text 1, he asks, Sri Narad Muni asked Brahmaji, O chief amongst the demigods, O firstborn living entity, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please tell me that transcendental knowledge which specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the super soul. And then he further asks, he addresses Brahmaji, is the father for Narad Muni. He says, my dear father, please describe factually the symptoms of this manifest world. What are the symptoms of this world? What is its background? How is it created? How is it conserved? And under whose control is this all being done? And like that, there are further, if you see, my dear father, all this is known to you scientifically, because whatever was created in the past, whatever will be created in the future, or whatever is being created at present, as well as everything within this universe, is within your grip, just like a walnut. And further he asks, my dear father, what is the source of your knowledge? Under whose protection are you standing? And under whom are you working? What is your real position? Do you alone create all living entities with material elements by your personal energy? So these are the questions which are asked by Narad Muni. Very unique questions. Do we ever ask such question to our fathers or anyone in our family about this material world? Who created? What is your level? Our life, our questions just remain about, ahar, nidra, bhay, mathunam, chai. Our questions are limited to eating, sleeping, maintenance and reproduction. This is all our life is, all about that, We are into school, from the school then we are worried about getting into good college. From good college, the next worry is to get a good job. After good job, then there's a plan to get settled nicely, get married. And this is all limited to these things, Think about our life. When was in our life there's a time then we went to ask such queries like the way Narad Muni is asking to his father about the creation, who is supreme, who is the source of your knowledge, So these are very amazing. That's why Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it's called Amal Puran. It's a spotless scripture and it's only meant to elevate our consciousness, take us beyond this material world. So in today's verse, which we are reading, which we just read right now, this is in further. Now after that, after these questions were asked, then Brahmaji, he starts answering, he starts giving the answer. So so the question like, who created all this? Who is that creator? So in answering to that, he is explaining about this material world where he says, material activities are caused by the Mahatma Tattva being agitated. At first there is a transformation of the modes of goodness and passion, and later to the mode of ignorance. Matter, its knowledge, and different activities of material knowledge come into play. So he's talking about Mahat Tattva and different modes of material nature. We know these modes of material nature as Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna. We call it goodness, passion and ignorance. And everything in this world is happening because of this three modes of material nature, which is enacting, Like sometimes we are into the mode of goodness, sometimes we are into the mode of passion, and then we go into the mode of ignorance. And sometimes it is mixed. These modes are mixed, like some mixture of goodness or passion, mixed of passion, ignorance, mixed of all the three. And that's how there are so many species, because of variety of modes of material nature. And we all are controlled by these modes of material nature. So throughout the day, and not only we, this whole creation, this material world, the whole creation is affected by the modes of material nature. So we'll also read little bit purport and go through it discussing. Material creations of every description are more or less due to the development of mode of passion. The Mahat Tattva is the principle of material creation, and when it is agitated by the will of the Supreme, at first the mode of passion and goodness are prominent, and afterward the mode of passion, being generated in due course by material activities of different varieties, becomes prominent, and the living entities are thus involved more and more in ignorance. So it starts with goodness and goes towards which direction? Ignorance. So mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. In Bhagavad Gita we'll find that there are descriptions given. What happens in the mode of ignorance, what happens in the mode of passion, what happens in the mode of goodness, how they control and what are their symptoms. Not only that, it is also describes the activities in mode of goodness, activities in mode of passion. Similarly, it describes about various, about charity, about food, about austerities, about speech. So many things are described in the Bhagavad Gita in different modes. In different modes. So, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Tragunyo Vishyo Veda, Nistragunya Bhuvarjuna, Nirdvanda Nitya Sattvastho, Niryoga Chema Atmavan. He says, Tragunya Vishya Veda. There are three modes Traya Gunya Vishya Veda. And generally in the Vedas, it mostly talks about these modes in the sense that the Vedas are designed to slowly elevate one's consciousness. So one is in the mode of ignorance, completely controlled by ignorance, and the Veda is supposed to slowly uplift him from ignorance to passion and passion to goodness. But Krishna says, Nistra Gunyo Bhavarjuna. What he says, go beyond the material modes. Nistra Gunya, go beyond the material words. And further it says, Satvastha, come to the mode of goodness, not only goodness, but actually pure goodness, which is even above the goodness. Like someone who is in mode of goodness, it is not necessary that he will also become a devotee or he will practice Krishna consciousness. Because what happens in mode of goodness, one feels very satisfied in himself. He thinks he is happy, he has all good habits, he gets up in the morning, he doesn't fight with anyone, he likes to help people, and he is always peaceful, calm. So he feels he doesn't need God in his life because everything is so nice, everything is so peaceful. So why does he need God? And he is doing good to everyone. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that even that is not sufficient. Nirdvando nitya sattvastho. Go beyond these dualities of material world. What are the dualities? There is happiness and distress, sukh and dukh. And what else? There is cold and heat. There is day and night. So it's duality. There is nothing fixed in the material world. Whatever situation we are right now, it's not going to be permanently like this. In due course of time, we will be also affected by this material world, and we will change. We may be healthy right now, we will not remain whole life healthy. So like that, if we are very, someone who is very happy right now, he won't be always happy. So that's how the modes are working, and that's how this material nature is working. So Lord Krishna suggests that one should go beyond these three modes of material nature. So further it is said here in the purport, Brahma is the representation of the mode of passion, Vishnu is the representation of the mode of goodness, and the mode of ignorance is represented by Lord Shiva, the father of material activities. This doesn't mean that Lord Shiva is in the mode of ignorance, but he is the one who is controlling or in charge of the mode of ignorance. Just like someone who is a jailer or jail superintendent, that doesn't mean that he is also a criminal. Although he also is inside the jail and all the criminals are also inside the jail, but that doesn't mean that jail superintendent is also a criminal, or there are security guards, they are also criminal. They both are inside the jail, but they have different identity. Similarly, Lord Shiva is in charge for the mode of ignorance, and Brahma is in charge of the mode of passion, and Vishnu is in charge for the mode of goodness. So just now we are singing that bhajan, and we sang in that bhajan that Tava Ichha Mate Brahma Korena Srijana. Brahma is creating. How is he creating? In this bhajan it is mentioned he is creating just because Krishna desires. He provides all the ingredients, he does the primary creation, and then Brahmaji does the secondary creation. Tava Ichha Mate Vishnu Korena Palan. And Vishnu is maintaining everything. By whose desire? By the desire of Krishna. What is the difference between Krishna and Vishnu? You might have heard before in previous sessions. So, because of the desire of Krishna, Vishnu is maintaining everything. Tava Ichamate Shiva Korena Sanhar. By the desire of Krishna, Shiva is doing his Tandav Nritya and is destroying everything. And Tava Ichamate Maya Shrije Karagar. And because of desire of Krishna, Maya Devi, Srije Karagar, she has made this Karagar, this jail, this prison house in the material world. See, Maya Devi, what she has in her hand, she has a trident. And what this trident meant for? Trident means she is giving three kleshas. What are those? Adhyatmik, Adibhautik and Adidavik. The three kleshas she is giving. Unless we don't surrender to Krishna, we will be suffering in this material world with these three kleshas which are given by Maya Devi. So, these three personalities, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, They are creating, maintaining, and finally destroying. Material nature is called the mother, and the initiator for materialistic life is the father, Lord Shiva. All material creation by the living entities is therefore initiated by the mode of passion. So, do you have that? I wanted to show. Can you show this? So, there's a very nice Goloka chart developed by devotees from ISKCON, Salem, Gokul Chandra Prabhu and his team. I don't know if every one of you have seen. You make it bigger and go a little up. No, you are going down. So this is how, if you see, is the map of the whole material world. And if we see here, then on the topmost we see is the Lord Krishna is performing his pastimes. This is Golok Vrindavan, Haridham. And if you come down, so what we are reading today in our, come more down. This is Vaikuntha Lokas, go more down. Yeah, you can make it more bigger here. So here you see there is a ocean. What is the name of the ocean? No, there's one which is river. There's a river. Virja river is there, which is separating the material world and the spiritual world. And below we are, and here we see there is a form of Vishnu. Just hold there. There's a form of Vishnu. What is the name? Karanodakshaya Vishnu. And Karanodakshaya Vishnu, there is a form of Lakshmi Devi. What is her name? Rama Devi. And her shadow is another one. What's her name? Maya Devi. And Maya Devi, in association, in union with the personality, Lord Shiva, leads to this whole Mahat Tattva on the right side, on the other side. It's shown Mahat Tattva. Yeah, as you see here. Yeah, you can make it bigger. Yeah, that's it. So there you see it is written called Mahat Tattva. What is Mahat Tattva? It is everything in the material world. When the material world is destroyed, the whole creation is destroyed, everything comes into rest. And that is Mahat Tattva. Everything is there. You know, whatever we are doing in this world, so many buildings and so much of important work, which you feel is so important, and all varieties of activities, and everything will be destroyed in due course of time. And everything settles down in one matter or in one unit, everything in one unit. And that becomes Mahat Tattva. And later on, from Mahat Tattva is agitated. Why it is agitated? Because of the glance of Vishnu. And that is only the shadow glance, not directly also. Vishnu doesn't do direct glance. That's a shadow glance. And because of that shadow glance, the Mahat Tattva is agitated, and then this whole creation comes. And then we see what is happening is so many universes are coming out. These all golden balls which you see, they all are universes. And one of the universes is shown here. So here we see this is the first creation Vishnu has done, and now the second creation we see from here comes again from the navel of another Vishnu. What is his name? Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. From him comes a lotus on which Brahma is sitting, and he does the further creation of these planetary systems. So many planetary systems. There are 14 planetary systems. And in that 14 planetary systems, we see there is a Brahma Loka, Jana Loka, Tapa Loka, Mahar Loka, Swar Loka, and then there is one planetary system is Bhuloka. Correct? Bhurloka. And there we have our planet Earth. So it is so tiny, it is so infinitesimal, we can say. It is so small, so much small. So it's all happening, as we sang in that bhajan, this is all happening how? This is just happening by the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. He is desiring, and with his desire, all these things are manifesting, and all of them are playing their roles. Vishnu is doing one level, then Brahma is doing another level of creation, secondary creation. Then again Vishnu is maintaining everything, and again Shiva destroys everything. And this cycle goes on, goes on, goes on. There is no end. So this is not that first time we have taken birth. So many times we have taken birth and gone through this cycle. We have been part of so many material universes, we don't even remember. So many times we have gone through Janma, Mrityu and Jara Vyadhi. So this has been our life. And that's why it is written here in the purport, material nature is called the mother, and the initiator for materialistic life is the father, Lord Shiva. As you saw the image, Mahat Tattva image. Next to that is Maya Devi and Lord Shiva. And with their union, this all further comes up. So many layers of creation. Material nature, okay, you can go back to the purport. All material creation by the living entities is therefore initiated by the mode of passion. So all this creation which we are seeing in this material world, all these big buildings and whatever we are trying to play with the material elements, trying to create so many things, trying to create so many elements, vehicles, any kind of creation, that is initiated by the mode of passion. Everything. And with the advancement of duration of life, in a particular millennium, the different modes act by gradual development. So as soon as the millennium goes by, earlier it was more of goodness, and it goes by, it becomes more of passion, and further it goes by, then what happens? In the, as such, age of Kali, material activities of different varieties in the name of advancement of human civilization takes place, and there takes place, and the living entities become more and more involved in forgetting their real identity, the spiritual nature. So now we see in this Kali Yuga, which is the ongoing age, there is so much of passion, and eventually there is so much of ignorance. So all this in current Yuga, because of the effect of this passion and ignorance, it is very difficult to understand Krishna consciousness. So further Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, by a slight cultivation of mode of goodness, a glimpse of spiritual nature is perceived, but due to the prominence of the mode of passion and the mode of passion, the mode of goodness becomes adulterated. So by slight cultivation of mode of goodness, simple activity just like getting up early in the morning and trying to practice Krishna consciousness, slight development of mode of goodness, we can have some experience of some glimpses of Krishna consciousness. But again then we get into so many activities whole day and we get into mode of passion and we tend to forget Krishna consciousness. So Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Mam cha bhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samtitan brahma bhuvaya kalpate. He says that one who performs bhakti yoga, Mam cha bhicharena bhakti yogena sevate, one who practices Krishna consciousness, by practice of Krishna consciousness regularly, sa gunan samtitan, one can go beyond the mode of passion, mode of ignorance, and mode of goodness also. But this is only possible by practice of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise it is not possible. When Srila Prabhupada was preaching in the Western world, whom he was preaching to? He was preaching to all the hippies, and they were completely into the mode of ignorance because they were having all bad habits, drinking, alcohol, drugs, illicit sex life. So in that kind of life, Srila Prabhupada gave them Krishna consciousness. He just started chanting, and they also joined Srila Prabhupada in the kirtan. Then they started attending Srila Prabhupada's thrice Bhagavad Gita classes in a week. They started honoring prasadam, which Prabhupada would personally cook for them. And the effect of kirtan, the effect of prasadam, and the effect of this reading of Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam was, what was the effect? They all could go beyond, the modes of material nature, They could become devotees. They became devotees of Krishna. They started practicing Krishna consciousness. So this is all possible if we take up Krishna consciousness very seriously, as it is explained here. and we start practicing Krishna consciousness in association of devotees. Prabhupada adds in the purport, therefore one cannot transcend the limits of material modes, and therefore the realization of Lord, who is always transcendental to the modes of material nature, becomes very difficult for living entities, even though prominently situated in the mode of goodness through cultivation of the various methods. So very, very difficult for any living entity to practice Krishna consciousness. And we find that if you try to tell anyone to take up Krishna consciousness, to practice Krishna consciousness, it is very difficult for them to accept also. Everyone is into studying the material nature or material creation. Our Acharya says that this material creation or this material nature is called Jada Vidya. There are two kinds of Vidya. One is spiritual knowledge and one is material knowledge. Spiritual knowledge is something which elevates our consciousness, takes us more closer to Krishna. And material knowledge is something which takes us away from Krishna. It entangles more to us in the material world. Like, so many scientists, I mean, we have gone through so many material elements. We are studying about different elements, about neutrons, protons, and so many scientific things where we are taking so much of interest, so much of advancement of material civilization. But this all comes into the mode of passion. It doesn't help us to grow in our Krishna consciousness. Materially, it may be so amazing, it may be so bewildering, everything is happening just by some, scientific advancements. We see we can fly in the sky, we have so much of, everything can happen wirelessly. But it is explained in our scriptures that all this knowledge which is there, all this knowledge, it takes us more and more into ignorance. Like there's a verse in Isopanishad which says that avidyam upashate andha tama pravishanti ye avidyam upashate. Andha tama pravishanti. One goes more and more and more into the mode of ignorance. One is more and more involved in avidya or jad vidya, or the vidya of this material world. And our acharyas, they explain in their bhajans, jada vidya mayara vaibhava. This jada vidya, or this material knowledge which we see all around, which we were so excited to study in our school days and college days to get some good marks. Our acharyas explain, jada vidya mayara vaibhava. It is a opulence of material energy. And this mayara vaibhava, what it does, one goes so much into material knowledge, then it makes a man into a donkey. Jivera korai gadha. He says a man gets into so much into this, and then he's going into so much of hard working, he just becomes like a donkey. So that is not the goal for us, but our goal is that we practice Krishna consciousness very nicely, go beyond this modes of material nature, go beyond this sataguna, rajoguna, tamoguna, and come to a platform where we practice Krishna consciousness. Mam cha vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samti taitan brahma bhuvaya kalpate. One comes to the platform of Brahman, by practice of Krishna consciousness. The effect of modes which is there on us, like because of mode of ignorance, we tend to become very lazy, we feel very sleeping. Because of the effect of mode of passion, we become so active whole day. We give up our food, we just want to work hard and hard. So all these effects of modes can go away only by practice of Krishna consciousness. It is said in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 2nd canto, Tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobhadayasche. Before that there's a verse. That verse says, Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. Whatever abhadra is there, impurities are there, dirtiness is there. Almost everything is destroyed by how? Nityam bhagavat sevaya. By service of Bhagavat. And who is a Bhagavat? There are two Bhagavat. One is Bhakta Bhagavat, like we have Srila Prabhupada, Acharya, great devotee. Another one is Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the book itself. So Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya, like reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam every day, reciting Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam every day, or serving a great devotee like Srila Prabhupada. So Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. What happens? We develop very strongly Krishna consciousness. And what is the result of doing Seva, Bhagavat Sevaya, like reading Bhagavatam or serving a great devotee? The result is Tada Rajastamo Bhava Kama Lobhadashe Chet Etar Anavidam Sthitam Sattve Prasidanti. We get established in pure goodness, and the effect, Tada Rajastamo Bhava, the effect of Raja, mode of passion, the effect of mode of ignorance, all this goes away by practice of Krishna consciousness, by association of devotees. Otherwise, we remain stuck in this material world for millions and millions of lifetime, and we keep endeavoring, we keep endeavoring. See, this is such an amazing creation. At least as we are trying to practice Krishna consciousness, we are reading books, and by reading these books, by hearing some talks, we understand, okay, this is all temporary, this is all insignificant, but still, as the day goes by, we get into our day-to-day affairs, and we feel it is so important. how Maya Devi and how Krishna's illusion is so strong, In spite of knowing that this is all illusory, in spite of knowing this is all temporary, this will not remain with us, still we feel so much of urge to go on achieving something in this world, to work hard to achieve something in this world. Just like in Yaksha Prashna, one of the questions was asked by Yaksha to Yudhishthira Maharaj, that what is the most surprising thing in this world? And Yudhishthira Maharaj said, Ahani Ahani Bhutani Gachanti Amalayam. He says that Ahani Ahani Bhutani, day after day, the living entities Gachanti Yamalayam. Where are they going? They are going to the abode of Yamraj. Ahani Ahani Bhutani Gachanti Yamalayam. They are going to the abode of Yamraj. Sesh Sthavram Ichanti. And those who are staying in this material world, they think what? That they will continue to stay here. Kim Ascharya Matah Param. What could be more surprising thing than this in the world? Isn't it? We never think that next moment can be death. We are always working, we are always planning in a way as if I am going to live eternally. We have seen that our great grandparents passed away, our grandparents passed away. For some of us, maybe our father, mother also passed away, our relatives have passed away. But we are acting in this world, working so hard day in, day out, sacrificing a spiritual life, thinking what? That I will be the exception. I will be not captured by this material nature. But it's not going to happen. We are also going in the cycle, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, and we are also going to go away. So the effect of passion, as Srila Prabhupada explains in this purport, the effect of passion and the effect of ignorance is so much that the living entities, they forget their real identity. What is our real identity? Our real identity is that we are servant of Krishna. Like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Gopir Bhartur Pad Kamleor, Das Das Dasanudas. Servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. That is our real identity. It's a beautiful pastime of Srila Prabhupada when he was giving a lecture and he was explaining that there is a Kshatriya, there is a Brahmana, the topmost is Brahmana, and next to Brahmana is Kshatriya, and next to Kshatriya is Vaishya, and then Shudra is explaining the Varnashram system. So one of the person very arrogantly he asked, Swamiji, you belong from which class? Because he thought that maybe Prabhupada will say to him that I am the Brahmana class, So Prabhupada, being very humble, he said, I am servant of all. I am servant of all. So that is the identity of a devotee, that he thinks that I am just a servant of all. It's very easy for me to say, it is difficult for me also to practice. To have always this mood that I am the servant of all. Thinking that way, not servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. Right now, because of mode of passion and ignorance, we feel that I am all in all. Like if we see all this Ramayana, Mahabharata, and we hear about personalities like Ravan, or we read Bhagavatam, we hear about the personalities like Hiranyakashipu. They are very educated people. Very, very educated. If you read from 6th canto about Hiranyakashipu, when Hiranyaksha dies, and then Hiranyakashipu goes and is pacifying the wives of Hiranyaksha. So he's explaining to the wives of Hiranyaksha complete, it's like a Bhagavad Gita lecture, you know. This material world is temporary and everyone has to die. He's completely explaining the whole, whatever he's teaching, it is just like what we learn in Bhagavad Gita. But after teaching all this again, Hiranyakashipu also wants to kill Vishnu, and he thinks Vishnu is my enemy. So this material knowledge, or the knowledge of this material world, is not going to help us in our spiritual advancement. What is going to only help us is the mercy of the devotees or the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Even if the Supreme Lord comes in front of us, we will not be able to recognize him. So many pastimes we read in scriptures, like Lord personally gave darshan not only to Pandavas, he was giving darshan even to Kauravas. You know. But then Duryodhana never understood that he is the Supreme Personality. Yeah. He always thought that he has some mystic powers. Yeah. And he is just using his mystic power. He never accepted as Supreme Personality. Whereas Arjun, Pandav, they always accepted him as Krishna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So as long as there is a cover of passion and ignorance, it's really very difficult for us to go in our Krishna consciousness. But if Lord wants to reveal, or if the devotees are very merciful, then it is possible for us. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that, what is that verse in the 8th chapter, verse number 14? Mam maya durataya. Devi esha gunamai, mam maya durataya. My maya, you know, Devi esha gunamai, this all material creation, mam maya durataya. One cannot overcome it. It's not possible. It is beyond our perception. But maam eva ye prapadante. One who takes his shelter, mayam eva tarantite. One who takes shelter can only cross this material world. There is no other way. So as explained in this purpose, please take up Krishna consciousness very seriously. Whatever we are able to practice, we are only able to practice because of the mercy of the devotees who have brought us to Krishna consciousness, who have given us so much of prasadam, knowledge, care, and inspired us to participate in various Krishna conscious activities, because of which little bit of ignorance is gone and we are able to practice Krishna consciousness. But again and again ignorance attacks us, you know, and we tend to slip away from Krishna consciousness. But if we just remain in association of devotees, be very humble and keep a very prayerful mood, take shelter of Bhagavat like Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and the devotees, pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada and his genuine followers, then it is possible for us to go beyond these modes. Otherwise it's very difficult. It's a very important line Prabhupada mentions here. By slight cultivation of the mode of goodness, a glimpse of spiritual nature is perceived. But due to the prominence of the mode of passion, the mode of goodness becomes adulterated. Therefore, one cannot transcend the limits of material modes, and therefore realization of Lord becomes very difficult for the living entities. Very, very difficult for us, realization of the Lord. Every day we are hearing about Krishna, we have to surrender, but then there is again some impurity and we are pushed back. But what is the solution? We have to keep trying. You know. Just like material energy also has its Shakti. You know. It's called Avaranatmika Shakti and Prachepatmika Shakti. There are two energies of material nature which is covering us. You know. Avaranatmika Shakti makes us feel that, covers us and makes us feel that this is such a nice place. You know. It covers us. It doesn't allow us to. Everyone is so busy. Like when we go to people and give Bhagavad Gita, what is the standard answer? No time. We're so busy, no time in the material world. You know. So it has completely covered. One thinks, I am this, I am that, I have so much of responsibility. Prabhupada explains that a dog is also running on 4 legs. And he's so busy in his life, so busy running on the 4 legs. And human beings are also running on 4-wheeler, 2 legs, 4 wheels. And he's so busy. So Avran, completely covered, doesn't want to know or think anything beyond that. And there is a Prachepatmika Shakti also. If someone even tries to understand little bit Krishna consciousness, some devotees come and give, but there's another Shakti which pulls us away. Oh, I have so much of, it's good, it's nice, but now sometimes for someone it's a family pressure, for someone it is a health, for someone it is so much of responsibilities, self-appointed responsibilities, so many things. Knowing well that this is wrong, still we do it because we think this is mine responsibility. So we think in that way. Our first responsibility is to actually serve Krishna, isn't it? That's the first responsibility. If we don't do that, then Bhagavatam explains whatever we are doing, it is sham evahi kevalam. It is just efforts with no results. So if we practice Krishna consciousness and nicely, as given by our acharyas, then we can go beyond the modes. In this life itself, Srila Prabhupada explains in one of the purport that just like the iron bar, if we put the iron bar in the fire for a long time and if the fire is very strong, then what happens? That bar also becomes fire. If you have seen molten iron, it is fire. Molten iron is fire. How that iron became fire? Because of in connection with fire. Similarly, a pure devotee who is always in connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of his connection with Krishna, he is no more into this material body, or it is no more affected by the material modes. He is beyond the material modes. Although he may appear, he may look like, just like all of us are sitting, a pure devotee will also look like, sitting with his body, hands, legs, everything. But he has no effect of material modes on him. Why? Because of his constant connection with Krishna, he is beyond the material modes. And we can see this very much in the life of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada would get up every day at 12, and for 5 to 6 hours he would translate Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Then whole day he would be busy preaching Krishna consciousness to the people, meetings, guiding disciples, traveling. And again he would go to sleep late night, like say maybe 10 o'clock, and then again get up by 12, midnight, and start translating. If we get up sometime midnight to catch a train or flight, we compensate it by sleeping whole day next day. Isn't it? We have to compensate it for next couple of days also sometimes. We compensate sleeping. But this was the daily life of Srila Prabhupada. How is it possible for someone every day getting up at midnight and writing, translating books, middle of the night with Bengali, Sanskrit books, so many acharyas commentary and translating it to English, and not only one day, but every single day. And the daytime was also not very pleasant. There would be so many troubles. The disciples were all American, European. They were not devotee. They were not practiced in Krishna conscious lifestyle. So there will be so many issues, so many challenges, fights to establish temple anywhere, so much of trouble with the people, municipality, and living with the hippies. It was all so much of mental pressure whole day. In spite of all that mental pressure whole day, Prabhupada was oblivious to it. He could just go through it, and again in the night he would just translate Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So this is, we can see Acharya, how he is in this, appeared to be a material body, but he is completely beyond the modes. No effect of modes on him, completely beyond the material modes, and teaching by his own example. So in the similar way, if we follow in his footsteps and practice Krishna consciousness, the way Srila Prabhupada has given us, we will go beyond the modes. And if we distribute these literatures, now we have book distribution marathon. Gita Jayanti is there 11th of December. So each one of us should try to not only read, of course reading is very important, but along with reading we should also share this knowledge. Just like we got the opportunity to practice Krishna consciousness, we got the opportunity to learn about Krishna consciousness because someone came voluntarily and helped us to practice Krishna consciousness, guided us. Now it is our responsibility that we also start sharing this knowledge. So this is a very good time of Gita Jayanti. We can take this opportunity to share this knowledge with people, distribute these books like Bhagavad Gita, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, so that people can also take the benefit of Krishna consciousness and go beyond the modes of material nature. Hare Krishna. So any questions? We are already beyond time. All right. Gandhra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Tai Gaur Premanande. Srila Prabhupada ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai.